It's a forever love, baby, not just a night or two. Relationships that crash and burn, that's what they try to do. Taking the bait from the end of illicit pleasures hook. But we keep Jesus at the center like he's 7 foot. And that's the secret, baby, we got something special here. If we keep that perspective, then there's nothing left to fear. My heart distinctly trusted you, that's why I let you near. Yeah, I trusted you, that's why I let you near. I think it's pretty clear, we got a good thing, we got it good, baby, we got a good thing going on. Yeah, we got a good thing, we got it good, baby, we got a good thing going on. Say it with me, we got a good thing, we got it good, baby, we got a good thing going on. Yeah, we got a good
out
thing, we got it good
on the YouTubes. Welcome to the first ever live stream for Todd Thinks. Round of applause for everyone. If I can find it.
Conclusion, every fiber of my being is flawed, and this is proven. If we gon' keep this going, then I need to master me. I look in the mirror, imperfection staring back at me like myself.
Here's the deal. Y'all gonna have to give me a little bit of grace today. This is my first ever live stream. So once again, just
what a fascinating etymological discovery.
What a fascinating discovery that we have here, because Todd Thinks is doing big things right now. I got to tell you something. For those of you who've chimed in, we're going to do a live here Q&A here in just a moment. Ooh. Scott, thank you. My bass was distorting. Hey, let me know if I sound okay. Let me know if I sound okay. I probably had just a few technical difficulties here, but hey, I'm glad you're here. This is the Todd Thinks podcast. And listen, these last 5 days, friends, have been like bananas. Like really bananas. For most of you, you probably found my channel on one of my videos, either from some of the reviews that I've done on the Sound of Freedom, or you found my video where I talked about the Jason Aldean. I can't even remember the name of the song now. Jason Aldean's Try That in a Small Town. Yes. So I got to tell you, today was supposed to be like our live stream extravaganza where we celebrated like 500 subscribers. Y'all, I got to tell you, we got quite a bit. We got quite a few more subscribers than that. We got quite a few more subscribers than that. I can tell you that for me, my channel is kind of just getting off the ground, and a lot of you have been giving me really good feedback, saying that my commentary has been thoughtful, has been intelligent. So I appreciate every one of you, and yeah. Round of applause for all of you, my new subscribers. Round of applause. Let me know once again if my audio is weird or anything like that, and I'll get that fixed. But in any case, this channel is all about you guys. I know the name of the channel is Todd Thinks, but this channel, if you want to know what this channel is about and why I do it, there's really 3 things. I love God, I love people, and I love this nation. And when you love God and when you love people, I feel duty bound to expose the lies of people who are hell-bent on disrupting and basically upending our great nation. We're going to talk a lot about what's going on in the culture. We're going to talk a lot about God. I hope you like to talk about God, because we're going to do a lot of that around here. And because I think a healthy nation starts with a healthy family. A healthy family starts with God. So we're going to talk a lot about that. Today, I wanted to actually give you guys an opportunity to ask me a few questions. And if there aren't a lot of people here to ask questions, that's fine, because I got basically a quick 5 facts about me, and then we'll circle back and talk a little bit about what's been going on and why these issues, like, for example, Sound of Freedom, and the Jason Aldean new video, why that's been resonating with so many people, and the common link that they have between the two of them. There's a common link between the two of them that I want to talk about. But first, a little bit about me, just a smidgen about me. You may have noticed that every time I start one of my vlogs, I say I'm Todd Shannon, data scientist, social commentator, and getter of buckets. You might say that's an odd combination that's an odd turn of phrase, right? You might say, oh, what does a social commentator and getter of buckets have to do with one another? Well, I'm just telling you basically a little bit about myself every time I start a podcast, because many of you may not have known. First fact about me, I played college basketball at the great Coastal Carolina University. Go Shants. Shants up. Shants up. V up. V up. Well, that's what my wife says. She says V up. But we have a thing with the Chanticleers, so that's very similar. Anyway, I played for Coastal Carolina University. I graduated in the year 2000. That's bizarre. I've been out of college for 23 years. That's bizarre. See, I got a little bit of gray going on here. I don't know if you can see that. Just a smidgen of gray. But in any event, I feel like an old head, but I still get buckets. And don't sleep. If I'm ever in your town, or if you ever come to my town, and we happen to hoop it up, you will see why I call myself a getter of buckets. Because let's just say you don't want these problems. Okay? So that's the first fact about me. I played college basketball. Second fact about me, I play 4 instruments. I play a lot of things. I play basketball, I play 4 instruments. I was trying to play some music here, starting off for the intro for the live stream. That was, if you could hear it, thank you, Scott, for mentioning that my bass was all distorted. But if you could hear that music with any clarity, that's because that was one of my songs. That was an original song. It was an album that I did, released back in 2014. So segue to me being me playing 4 instruments. I am a former Christian rapper. So I play 4 instruments. I play bass, I play guitar, I play keys, and I play the drums. I played a little bit of drums. I'm not really like a drummer type, but if I sit down on the kit, I can bust out a groove pretty good. That's the second fact about me. I play 4 instruments. Third fact about me is I am a basically retired Christian rapper. Oh, and little side note about that. Many of you probably know who Lecrae is. If you're into Christian music at all, you might know who Lecrae was or is. Well, I used to actually do some work, and I actually did some producing for the label that launched Lecrae's career. It's a rap label out of Philadelphia called The Cross Movement. And I did some work with them way back in the day. Many of you might know that I did that. Scott says he's a musician as well. Round of applause for the musicians. Even an air horn or two. So yeah. So I play a lot of instruments. Formerly a Christian rapper. Family life. Fact number 4. I am married with 3 children. My wife and I have been married for 19 years, I think. I hope she didn't see me say that just now, like I said it. But 19 years, we've been married. 18 years, 19 years. We got married in 2004. How many years is that? Oh, it'll be 19 years. That's right. That's why I'm confused. It'll be 19 years in September of this year. And we have 3 children. We have a 17-year-old, a 12-year-old, and a 7-year-old. So we got them spread out pretty good. That was not on purpose, by the way. All right. Final fact about me, that you may or may not have known. This is a completely random fact, but I am a bread fanatic. I have never seen a piece of bread that I would not eat. I got to tell you, I think probably half of my caloric intake is bread. And thank God I got a pretty high metabolism, so I apparently it doesn't make me fat or whatever. So yeah, I'm a bread guy. I'm into it. Now I bought this KitchenAid stand mixer, and I swore up and down, like for years and years and years, I coveted this KitchenAid stand mixer. And I said, oh man, when I get this stand mixer, man, I'm gonna make all kinds of bread. I'm gonna make all kinds of artisan bread. I'm gonna make French bread. I'm gonna make sourdough bread. And I'm happy to, well, I'm sad to report that I've had that stand mixer for probably almost a year now, and I have not made a single solitary loaf of bread. But why stress making all the bread when they make it at the store just fine? I don't know if you ever tried to make bread, but bread is hard to make. Well, Scott asked me if I bake. Not really, Scott. I try to bake. That's the deal. I try to bake, but I don't really bake. So that's the situation there. So yeah, so those are the things about me that you might find interesting. 5 miscellaneous facts. But I want to talk to you a little bit about what my channel is about. You can probably gather what my channel is about from some of the videos you may have seen. This channel is social commentary from a Christian perspective. That's what it's going to be. It's called Todd Thinks because I believe that critical thinking skills are one of the most important lost arts, might I add. I think it's a lost skill. It's not a lost art, it's a lost skill. Critical thinking, right? Being able to think and, more importantly, to express your thoughts in a way that helps others understand what you think and feel, and also in a way that can basically dissect and take apart fallacious arguments and ideas that are silly and ridiculous. I was saying to me, oh, Scott, wait a minute. Scott, you're a pro baker for 30 years. Hey, Scott, we're going to have to link up because my bread game is it leaves much to be desired. Just put it that way. Put it that way, Scott. So, but back to what I was saying. I was saying to my wife earlier, I've been getting so many great comments. I almost want to read some of them because I'm going to see if I can pull it up here. But I've been getting so many great comments on the last video that I put about the Jason Aldean. And I mean, this is actually quite unusual. I've got something like 800 and something comments on this video that has only about, let's say 30, let's see here, how many views here? About 34,000 views. So it's got about 34,000 views and it's got about 830 something comments. And so what I want to do is I want to try to read some of these comments because I really appreciate you guys' perspective. But I think what's happening, what I really think's happened is that many people are resonating with what I shared in that video, often because you have an intuitive sense of something not being right. But then all it takes is for someone to come along and to express what you're feeling in ways that really capture all of the nuances of the situation. And I was also saying to my wife, I said, sometimes if somebody is saying something and you feel like it isn't correct, but you don't quite know how to refute it, it almost feels like they have some power over you, right? And I feel like in many ways, to articulate, to have a well thought out explanation and to articulate the thoughts and feelings of many people in our culture, refuting the nonsense that's being shoved down our throat about racism, about equity, yada, yada, all of this stuff that people on the political left have made a dogma out of. It's like I'm giving people some of that power back, empowering people, who otherwise feel like they don't have a voice. So that's what this channel is about. It's about expressing in clear terms what I think people are feeling. And so I'm going to see if I can read some of these comments here. These comments are coming in hot and heavy here. I'll just read a random comment here. This comment says, "I grew up on a dairy farm." This is on the Jason Aldean video. Says, I grew up on a dairy farm, and I've had one big question for quite some time now. Why is it that people who work their butts off, sweat every day, just get to go, work their butts off, sweat every day just to get to the next day and love this country, never ask for anything, and the people who have never done crap for anyone or anything and have had everything handed to them their entire lives feel like everyone owes them everything. Round of applause for Bam Bam NJ. Bam Bam NJ. This is spot on. Spot on. She says, can anyone, I say she, and I'm not sure this is she, but this is a person. Says, can anyone explain why a certain group of political idiots believe this is paying their fair share? A phrase they love to use towards the quote unquote rich, people who pay 90% of all the taxes collected in this country. How is it that insane? How is it that insane are now the voices these people listen to? I'm not sure. I think it's probably a typo there. No, hey, listen, it's a judgment-free zone here. I have a typo in every comment that I write. But respect for Bam Bam NJ for this comment. I like it. Another person says, great song, great message. Jason killed it. People are really crazy to think the song is racist. Crazy. That is exactly correct. That is exactly correct. When people say that the song is racist, I say, it's almost like these people are not thinking critically. It's almost like some sort of confessional, some sort of dogma. It's almost like a religious ideology that they adhere to. It's a way to show their orthodoxy and their commitment to certain political ideas. It has nothing to do with what actually is being presented to them, but they just predetermine that this is racist. People that think this way are racist. Well, how are they racist? Well, if you ask them to explain, they can't do that, but they're happy to just declare that people are racist. Patty Roberts, 4636 says, boycott CMT. Enough is enough. Country music television. I said something on the video, and I said, I'm not really a country person. I'm not a country music person. So when I learned about this song, I'm just like, okay, let's see what they're talking about. And I listened to the song. There was absolutely nothing racist about it, but I was really shocked that CMT took it down. And what that should tell you is that the wokeification of all of our institutions is thorough. This is part of the reason why this channel exists, because the wokeness has reached out to levels to even the people, small town America. Small town America is probably the most conservative groups of people in the United States, and country music television is supposed to be their client, right? I mean, or they're supposed to be the clients of country music television. Country music television should be serving that demographic. And they don't really care. The people, it just shows you, the people who are running that, they have the same diseased thinking that they have in the big cities, because there's probably somebody in New York or LA or wherever running those platforms, and they're just as, got as many left-wing brainworms as anyone else. And I speak in pejorative terms, but it's hard not to, right? I try to be nice. I try to be nice, but it doesn't always Doesn't always come off that way. Let's see here. Let's see if I can get any other comments here that are worth reading here. It says, this is the mainstream media trying to twist us up and keep us pitted against one another. Love the song and love the message. Thank you, Charlotte Anderson, 2619, for that comment. Yeah, I 100% agree. It's just like the CMT thing. Even the people who are supposed to be serving us, right? Like Fox News is supposed to be conservative, right? And I know there's a lot of good people on like Fox News, but we've even seen this sort of portrayal from Fox News, during the so-called Pride Month. They snuck in a propaganda piece for some trans kid, and I'm just like, what made Fox News think that this is the demographic to be pushing the transing of the kids onto? It's bizarre. So we not only have CMT and Fox News, but it seems like, once again, all of our institutions are in cahoots and willing to bow down to the baser instincts of some of the woke side of the culture. All right. So I can read this all day, but I really appreciate all of the comments. And what that says to me is that this is what's so encouraging to me about the response that I've gotten from this video and from all of you, is that I am echoing, once again, a sentiment that you all are resonating with. The message is resonating with you. You appreciate it. You see through the nonsense. As a kind of a segue to that, many people have found my channel from the Sound of Freedom and some of my content that I created there. And we have, once again, the same sort of thing where you'd have some people creating a false narrative about the Sound of Freedom. You know what I found so bizarre is that in the Sound of Freedom, at the end of the movie, they show actual footage of the raid. And if you haven't seen the movie, I don't want to give any spoilers, but one major plot of the movie is that they effectively do this operation where they set up traffickers to try to capture them trafficking children. That's all I'll say about it. And at the end of the movie, they actually show actual footage of what actually happened and what was portrayed in the movie. And even though there's actual footage in the movie, there's some moron or a group of morons still trying to say it's a conspiracy theory. And someone even made a comment on my video saying something to the effect of, hey, we need to stop child trafficking. That's bad. But, this is not the way. This is, QAnon conspiracy theories. I'm like, dude, the footage is in the movie. Like, what are you even talking about? So it is, quite, in my view. Scott, if you haven't seen it, oh yeah, the beginning of wisdom is reverence of the Lord. Amen to that, Scott. Air horns for Scott. Yes, Scott, very much worth it. And also, you could always, I suppose, wait for it to come on the movie theaters. But I, for one, wanted them to get that box office revenue because we're sending a message to Hollywood that this sort of content does resonate. Which leads me to my next point. I alluded to the fact earlier that there's a common denominator between the Sound of Freedom trend and the pushback that has come against it, and also the Jason Aldean's Try That in a Small Town. The common denominator is this. This is interesting. The common denominator is that the left, by actually coming out against both what Jason did and against the movie Sound of Freedom with a transparently and obviously false narrative about it, they actually produced the exact opposite of what they had intended to do. And some of you might be familiar with the Streisand effect. And the Streisand effect is basically there was some photographer who had taken a photo of Barbra Streisand's home. And she got upset about it, and she tried to sue the guy over the photos that he had taken of her home because she didn't want anybody to see her home. Well, because she made a big deal out of it, the photos got leaked to the public. And when most people could care less, and maybe if they had seen the photo, they wouldn't have known it was her home, and most people didn't care, because she made a big stink out of it, now everybody in the world saw her home. So that's what you call the Streisand effect. By trying to suppress it, you actually amplify it. And this is 100% what has happened with Jason Aldean's song. Once again, like I said, I don't even listen to country music. I have no idea. I had no idea before, like 3 days ago, I didn't know who Jason Aldean was. And now I know who he is. And now respect to Jason Aldean, right? Now I'm on this music. I might even, might start listening to country, messing around with me. I'll do it. Don't say I won't, because I will. I might. I'm just saying. So it's the exact opposite impact of what they had intended. And the same thing with the Sound of Freedom. There was a similar situation some months ago, or it's actually, I think it was last month, because it was during Pride Month. They did it to kick off Pride Month, where the Daily Wire actually had planned to release Matt Walsh's documentary, What is a Woman, on Twitter. And the woke the woke scold actually tried to stop it, and by trying to stop it, they caused Elon Musk to get involved, who released it and encouraged everyone to look at it and posted it on his page. So they tried to stop people from watching it, and all they did was cause millions of people to see it. So it's interesting. Here's the reason why that happens. Whenever there's a similar phenomenon with the gospel. If you're familiar with the early church, and once again, I'm not comparing these two phenomena with the gospel. Okay, so don't even do that. Okay, but what I'm saying is that what happened in the early church and in places all over the world where Christians are persecuted, whenever those people are persecuted, what ends up happening is they try to stop the gospels from spreading by persecuting Christians, and then they just make the gospel spread more, right? This is like they go, let's do this. Let's take all the Christians and put them in prison, but let's not put them all in the same prison. Let's separate them so that they all disperse. Let's put them all in different prisons. Well, you just basically sent missionaries out into the mission field, and you didn't even know it, right? And I think this is, what the Bible says, where He catches the cunning in their own craftiness. The wicked, they build a trap for the righteous, and they fall into their own trap, right? We see that sort of verbiage a lot. Hey, DJ John T from Sweden, what's going on? You know what, man? Shout out to my international subscribers and watchers, man. I got to tell you, I was encouraged. I had a lot of people that gave me a shout out from Europe. I had someone from the UK said that they had subscribed and that they were watching. I know people in Sweden, unfortunately, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, DJ John T in Sweden, the movie Sound of Freedom is not available, but prayerfully it will be available soon there, if not through streaming platforms or in the theaters, at least maybe through streaming platforms, I should say. So shout out to my my international brothers. Air horns for you. But yeah, but the point that I was making is that whenever the enemy tries to spread lies, hi Maria G, thank you for tuning in to the live stream. Whenever the enemy tries to suppress the truth with lies, he only ends up amplifying the truth, and we should be thankful for that. We should thank God that He often catches the crafty in their own traps, right? And, there's another thing too. that I feel like is interesting to note about that, because this is the thing that to me seems abundantly obvious. When people come out against something, I mean, just imagine the state of your mind that you have to be in when you come out against something like child sex trafficking. I mean, you actually have the gall and the gumption to lift up your voice and be like, hey, these people are against child sex trafficking. The nerve of them. It's like, it's almost incredible that they are even capable of that sort of delusion. But one thing I believe about this is that it's not really about the messaging, right? When people come out and they, just like they did against this Jason Aldean song, what really the benefit it has to us who have a sound and sober mind is that it allows us to mark the people, right? One of the things Jesus said is that he said, my sheep know my voice. He said, my sheep know my voice. And we have to think about it. Well, what is the voice of Jesus, right? He's using this analogy of the sheep knowing the voice of Jesus. And obviously in the natural, if you had a shepherd, and he obviously would give them vocal commands, and so they would learn his voice. But obviously none of us have ever heard Jesus speak, right? So when we say we know the voice of Jesus, what we mean is that we know the truth. We know the truth when we hear it. We know the truth when we hear it. And we know those, and we gravitate towards those who speak the truth. And this is something that's good for us. So when people start speaking obvious and absurd lies, we should mark those people. We should mark them. We should say, and in essence, they are announcing their allegiance to falsehoods. And unfortunately, in many respects, they are effectively announcing their opposition to God, right? So I think it's important that we recognize when they echo and they become conduits, and when they become vectors for falsehood, for things that are obviously untrue, I think it's important that we recognize that, we mark those people, and we say, not that we make them our personal enemies, but that we know, hey, all right, well, we know what we're working with. We know we know what we're up against, right? So I think there's been a lot of interesting developments this week. We got a lot of great content coming up in this next week. One other thing I want to mention here is that, some great feedback and actually quite humbling that I've received from many of the people who have recently subscribed. Oh, and let me see here. I want to see. I mentioned that we're supposed to do this. Let's see here. We were supposed to do this. My goal was to do this as a celebration of 500 subscribers. Okay, let me go here. All right, it was supposed to be a celebration of 500 subscribers. Look at how many subscribers. Literally, I planned to go and do a kind of a celebration of 500 subscribers this Friday. I was supposed to do it last night. That was my initial plan, but my son actually had a basketball game late at night. Don't ask. It's weird. Youth basketball, they're having basketball games at 9:00 at night. So I didn't want to do a live stream too late, but I felt like, all right, if I get to 500 subscribers, my goal, I would have been happy to get to 500 subscribers by like the end of this month, right? And that's why I just want to give a shout out to everyone who supported and who subscribed to the channel, because this has been an overwhelming response. And so what I wanted to say about that is I'm really excited for what's to come with the channel. because one of the things that people said to me, and like I was saying, that's humbling, is that they couldn't believe how low my subscriber count was. You know, they were saying, hey, you know, I come across your content. I can't believe you only have a few subscribers. So let me give you the skinny on why the channel hasn't grown. And by the way, I believe in the providence of God. So I believe that in His timing, this is the time, this is the season for the channel to grow. But I want to tell you, basically, I started this channel right around the end of 2020 or somewhere around there, right before the election was over and right before COVID. But the problem is that we used to live in a home where I didn't have a dedicated space to do a lot of creation, right? To do a lot of content. So what would happen is that if I wanted to make a video, I had to maybe wait till my kids go to bed, or I had to set up my little lighting and set up my camera, and I didn't have good audio. I didn't have great audio equipment, and so there was just a lot of barriers to getting the content out. And so thank God, through His providence, I was able to, once we moved to a new home in October of last year. And so once we moved, we were able to, I was able to find a dedicated space. And I love this space. You see my background. Shout out to my wife, whose handiwork this wall is. I like these little 3 diamonds kind of behind me. I feel like I feel quite regal sitting in this chair. And so this is our dedicated space for recording. And so that's really, it really took all of this time here. You know, maybe in the springs is when I really got it set up, where I could say, all right, now I can produce content on a consistent basis. And so what you can expect from this channel, if you're a subscriber, is a lot of great content, a lot of good social commentary from a Christ-centered perspective. And I plan, it is my goal to put out at least 4 or 5 videos every week, and maybe a lot of short content in addition to that. So if you stay tuned to the channel, you will get a lot of great information. Some people may call it infotainment. If you want to call it that, that's fine. But a lot of good information, and just giving you guys a Christ-centered perspective and how I see things. So I say, I don't know. What do you guys say? So let me get some predictions here. Let me look at my chat here. Yes, blew that out of the water for sure. All right, so let's do a little what's the word? A little what do you call it? A poll. I'm having a brain fart here. It's getting late. Let's do a poll. How many? Okay, so right now we're at 2,100 subscribers, and I got to tell you, the way we've been growing, I think we could be easily at 10,000 subscribers in a couple of months. Okay, so what's the over under for 10,000 subscribers? Put in the chat what you think. Do you think we'll be over 10,000 subscribers by the end of September, or excuse me, end of October, I should say? Over 10,000 subscribers by the end of October, or under? Let me see you put in the chat. Over or under? Anybody, so I'm going to go ahead on the record and say, I'm going to speak it in faith. I'm going to speak it in faith. I'm going to say, by the end of October, we're going to be over. Scott's in my corner. Scott says over. I'm with you, Scott. Hey, listen, all of you who are you, I'm going to call you guys my day ones, right? You're my day ones, 10 toes down, right? You're going to be, when by God's providence, when we get to 100,000, 500,000 subscribers, you're going to be able to say, I knew that guy, Maria G. Okay, all right, Maria, I appreciate that. Maria's hedging. Maria, I see you hedging. She says right at 10K. She says it's not over, not under, but right at. Okay, I see what you're doing there. All right, we can hedge. I'm going to pray. I'm going to pray that we could be over. My wife is actually in the chat there. She's an administrator. She says, we're going to be over. What do we win if we are right? Oh, you know what? That's a good question, Maria. Merch. So that's another thing. I like little sayings, and you know, you can never have too many T-shirts, right? So I've got some T-shirt ideas, and so Maria, I will mark my words. You can hit me up. If we are okay. But here's the thing, Maria. If we are at 10K. All right, so that means we'd have to be like right on the dot here. So I think you got to change your prediction. You got to say over or under. Which one? Because then that makes it easy, right? You say, all right, if we're over 10K, you win, or under. Which one you want to go with? Put that in the chat, and let the record show. Let heaven and earth and bear witness. All right, so. So basically, I'm honoring it. Anyone who's in this chat right now who makes a prediction and it is correct, free T-shirt. Okay, Maria G says over. That's what I'm talking about. I like it. Everyone's speaking in faith. All right. Well, this has been great. This is my first live stream. A little bit clunky here. It'll be smoother going forward. This whole live stream thing is a whole nother animal, right? When I sit down, size large. Oh yeah. Officer Tatum. Yeah. So that's a good comp, right? Because, Officer Tatum, Brandon Tatum, we watch his content a lot. And, I think he's probably where I was probably maybe 3 or 4 years ago. It was definitely before the Trump train. So before Trump became president. So, and then he had a meteoric rise, right? And I think he's at, probably close to 1 million subscribers and doing very well. So, I'm happy to have whatever scope of influence the Lord gives me. But yeah. Shannon says, your first live stream and my first time finding you. I'm feeling blessed. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Shannon. Such a beautiful comment. I feel the love from this group. One thing that I will say, the Todd Thinks community might be small right now, but we are mighty. We are mighty for sure. Give yourself a round of applause. I really feel like the people who have connected with this content, because, hey, you could find anyone. There's a lot of people out there that, create pretty decent content, and they're well known. You got the Officer Tatum, for example. You got, you might have, anyone from the Daily Wire. You might have, a Black Conservative Perspective. There's somebody who also I watch, and there are a lot of good content out there, and many people just find someone and that is popular and they follow them. But hey, when you guys gave me a subscribe, when you guys gave me a follow, when you tuned in to my little teeny channel, right? I knew that we had a connection, right? Because, most of the time people they see you got a little small channel, go, oh, this guy's not anything. Why should we give him a subscribe? He's got a little teeny channel. So you guys went out, launched out and kind of stepped out on faith and decided to follow me. So by God's grace, I will not waste your time. And anytime you tune into my content, I will give you 100%. So that's my pledge and my promise. I'm really excited about this community. So moving forward, let me know. I feel like the next couple of weeks or so, I'm going to talk about some of these the presidential candidate is heating up hot and heavy. Vivek Ramaswamy is really having a meteoric rise, and some even think that he might even overtake DeSantis, which is an interesting perspective. Hello, Sonny. Thank you for chiming in. So you got Vivek Ramaswamy. You got Ron DeSantis, and they might be kind of jousting for that second place behind Trump. Who's gonna be kind of the final competitor for Trump in the primaries, and obviously who's going to win the election. So I feel like I want to offer some of my commentary. Yeah, Vivek is, my wife and I were having a really good conversation last night about Vivek. There's a lot to like about him. There's a few questions about him as well. So tune into the content this week, because I will be talking about Vivek. As a matter of fact, I think I'll probably release a video tomorrow on my thoughts on Vivek so far, and why he's moving up in the ranks a little bit in the presidential campaign. Because we've seen all of these other people before. You got Tim Scott, you got Mike Pence, you got Kristi Noem. There are a lot of kind of old guard conservatives that we've seen before, and Vivek Ramaswamy has come out of nowhere and really, in my opinion, it's a 3-dog race right now. It's Trump, Vivek, and Ron DeSantis, and Vivek is the only one who's had, Pence. I got to tell you, man. I think Mike Pence is a good man. I don't know that he's a great leader. There's a difference between being a good man and a good leader. So, unfortunately. We don't, I don't think Pence is, I don't think President of the United States is in the cards for him. Shannon says, I sub to you. I would keep my eye on you and turn on the bill. Thank you so much, Shannon. You will not be disappointed. I pray that you will not be disappointed. I believe you will not be. So thank you for your support. All right, good people. Well, I will be ending my live stream. Unless anyone's got any questions. This is supposed to be a live Q&A. I didn't get any questions, so I just kind of decided to do 5 facts about me. Anyone got any questions? Any interesting observations, suggestions for me before we end the stream? Catherine says, I also watch Officer Tatum in the Black Conservative Perspective. Yes. Hello and congrats on your channel. The first live stream from a new subscriber from East Central Florida. Florida in the house. Florida is in the house. We got Maria from Florida. Maria G's from Florida as well, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So thank you, Florida. Florida holding it down. I'm curious if you guys really want, if you guys actually want Ron DeSantis to win the presidency and then you lose him as governor. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. Kind of suspect. I don't know. That could be an issue. All right. Well, Todd Thinks community. We'll try to do one of these every week. We'll try to do a live stream on a Saturday, maybe a Saturday or Sunday evening. Oh, Maria's from Boston. Oh, you're on vacation. Snowbird, huh? No, we can't be necessarily a snowbird because there's no snow in Boston right now. But yeah, the wife and I and the family, we want to try to get back down to Florida as soon as we can. Very, very good. Very good. So good. So, all right, good people. I'm going to be heading out, and this will be the end of our live stream. Thank you for tuning in. Tune into the content this week. We got a lot of good stuff in the pipeline. Till next time, people, God bless you.